Elite Facts presents
7 strange facts about the Ouija board you need to know before using it. There's nothing quite like contacting spirits from beyond, now is there? We're only 2 months away from Halloween night, and we think it's safe to assume that a few people are going to dust off the old Ouija board and take it for a spin to spook their friends and families out. Well, before you break out that Ouija board, we figured we'd share some strange facts about the infamous spirit summoning board and talk a little bit about its history. So here are 7 facts about the Ouija board you need to know before using it.
7.
Origins of the board and name. Here's something that may come as a surprise to you. The Ouija board is only a little over 100 years old. Now, most of you probably thought that the Ouija board originated way back in the 1700s or something, but it was actually only created near the end of the 1800s. A Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop called Danzigers and Company first advertised the, quote, wonderful talking board as, quote, without a doubt the most interesting, remarkable, and mysterious production of the 19th century, according to a newspaper from the time. At the time of its widespread release, the Ouija board was available to the public for the low price of just $1.49. Now, by today's standards, that seems really cheap, but back then it cost you an arm and a leg to afford one. According to Robert Murch, the world's foremost collector, historian, and expert on Ouija, the Ouija board got its name back in 1891 when its inventor, Charles Kennard, and his sister asked the board what it should be named, and it distinctly spelled out the letters O-U-I-J-A. The name itself is an ancient Egyptian word that means good luck.
6.
Spooky demonstration during patenting process. Robert Murch, the historian who studied the Ouija board for 20 years, claims that the board was tried, tested, and approved by the U.S. Patent Office. As it turns out, this claim is 100% true. Now, take a second to imagine what it must have been like presenting the Ouija board to the Patent Office. They must have thought it was absolutely crazy. Elijah Bond attended the meeting, accompanied by his lawyer and the owners of the company. They held a demonstration for the patent officer, whose name was purposefully withheld from the group, and when the officer asked the board to spell out his name, it did so perfectly. The officer was visibly shocked and left the meeting pale white and shook up. He awarded the patent soon after, but it should be noted that Bond himself was a practicing patent agent, so he could have known the officer's name.
5.
The Ouija board was the perfect dating activity back in the 1890s. So what do you do when you go on a date? Go out to dinner, catch a movie, grab a drink, go dancing? Oh, none of those? Okay, fine. What do you do when you go on a date? Oh, you contact spirits from another world? Okay, yeah, that's totally normal. Well, when the first branded Ouija boards were sold on a nationwide scale back in 1891, it was marketed as a fun activity to be played while on a date, with the emphasis on its mysterious oracle element. These things sold like hotcakes up until the release of the movie The Exorcist in 1973. Because of that film, many people didn't want to think about having the previously innocent board game in their homes. That's not to say that sales were completely down. You still had people who wanted to own something similar to the prop used in the movie, but when compared to the sales back in the 1890s, the Ouija board tanked. The Ouija board newspaper ads usually featured well-dressed people in family and social settings having fun. Words like mysterious and wonderful would be used often, and phrases like afford astonishing results and answers any question would appear frequently.
4.
The Ouija board was more popular than Monopoly at one point. Here's something that should definitely come as a shock. The Ouija board was at one point more popular than the biggest board game in the world. You know, Monopoly, the game that has broken up more families than it ever brought together. In 1922, pretty much every household had a Ouija board stashed away for what they believed was just some lighthearted fun. No kidding, when Parker Brothers purchased the Ouija board's rights in 1967, it outsold that most popular of American board games, Monopoly. We still think Monopoly is scarier than the Ouija board. I mean, have you ever seen someone's dad flip the table in a fit of rage during a Monopoly game? Now that is scary.
3.
Scientific theory behind it. When talking about the almighty power of the Ouija board, no one ever really mentions the scientific aspect behind how it really works. Several psychologists attribute the working of the board, and other things like water divining, to what is known as ideomotor phenomenon. This is a phenomenon performed subconsciously by a person's brain where muscle control takes over to perform an action. Those involved in the process of playing with the Ouija board subconsciously move the planchette to the letters they want to hear. Subjects were tested with neurotransmitters attached to the brain that recorded brain waves during Ouija board activity. The results totally backed the theory that it was indeed a person's brain working to that effect.
2,
There was a predecessor to the Ouija board that originated overseas. Just because the Ouija board was invented back in the late 1800s doesn't mean it was the only thing of its kind to ever exist. Before the Ouija board, there was a similar board that had similar spiritual capabilities. The first mention of a similar writing tablet dates back to 1100 AD in ancient China. Known as Fuji, it translated as planchette writing, which was used for contacting the dead. Unlike the Ouija board, published by almost all major board game manufacturers, the Fuji was only used in special ceremonies and under professional supervision. During the Song dynasty, entire scriptures were said to have been written using this method between 960 and 1279 AD. The practice was stopped by the Qing dynasty in 1600.
1,
It's all fake. Yeah, sorry to be the bearer of bad news and to break all immersion, but the Ouija board is simply just a toy. No demons, no spirits, no batteries, just a piece of cardboard and a piece of plastic. It's just a board game. I mean, think about it. If there was any legitimacy to these stories, why on earth would Mattel and Parker Brothers put these games into mass production? Hey kids, want to pick up your very own Barbie Ouija board? It comes in pink. Demons sold separately. But hey, no one needs to know it's fake, so feel free to trick them this Halloween. We're sure you'll get some good scares. And that's our list. Did we leave any out? Let us know in the comments below, and please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.